Yeah, welcome to my channel. If you watched the Monaco Grand Prix yesterday, or the Monaco GP, um, it's showing for the past couple of races that, put it this way, Oscar Piastri is someone that a driver that we're witnessing growing up in front of our eyes, basically, and becoming what can be a great driver. We saw that with Verstappen, and now we're seeing that with Piastri. I think it's going to be between these two now. Leclerc, yeah, honestly, it's a given that Leclerc is was bound to win the Monaco because it's his hometown. 13 starts, bad luck, and whatever. I mean, sorry, 7 years bad luck, whatever it may be. I forgot the number of years, but it's been bad luck for him for practically for those years. But um, Piastri is showing. So if I'm McLaren, and if I'm McLaren, I'm telling you, McLaren has to do everything they can to sign him to a long-term deal because you don't do that, you're gonna lose him to probably Mercedes, maybe most likely Ferrari. Quite honestly, in the next 2 years. And I hate to say this, but like McLaren had Lewis Hamilton at one point, and now they have Oscar Piastri, and I can see now why Alpine back then Renault. I forgot the team principal's owner name. Give me a second. Let me find his name again. I can find his name very quickly. Team. Otmar. Otmar, basically. I can see why. I remember the face. I just can't remember the names. Why he was so pissed off that you know McLaren took Piastri away. Basically, Alpine or then Renault as well too signed him, groomed him. I think Otmar recognized his massive potential, and now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing it firsthand. Um, this is the name that you're going to see for the next couple of years. Actually, you might think Lando, you might think George Russell, Lando Norris, George Russell, maybe Alex Albon is also showing his capabilities and why he deserved to be there. And unfortunately, I think he was pushed at the wrong moment into Red Bull because the fact is like anyone competing with Max is definitely going to get overwhelmed. I think he had to build himself up to the point where like now he's showing why he's that good, but he's not great. We're seeing it with Oscar Piastri, Max. If things go the way they are with Red Bull, it will provide us in this lifetime to see Max Verstappen basically breaking all the records that have been out there, breaking all the records that Schumacher has done, as well as Hamilton. Unless Hamilton can get a really good car, in the next 2 years, 3 years maybe, that can compete. Unfortunately I hate to say it, but it's going to be Max for the next couple of years. Unless, of course, if Lewis can get into a Red Bull, it's not happening. Um, but Oscar is, I think, the one that's going to compete with Max. The way we saw Hamilton competing with, well, basically Max, as well as uh, I don't want to say Bottas, but Bottas, we're seeing he was good, but he was just a team player. Um, Nico Rosberg was the closest at the time, but I think he was just getting overwhelmed psychologically that he couldn't handle it. But in any case, Oscar Piastri is going to be the one. Now, on the other hand, on the other end of it, team principal wise, Toto Wolff, I hate to say this, but he's not cutting it. Again, he inherited it, and basically that's where everything went along. As things changed, he's not able to change. He was not able to adapt, and we're seeing it now. Mercedes is like dropping considerably. I hate to say this, but Team Mercedes has to get rid of Toto. I don't, you don't want to see Toto Wolff, but I think we're seeing it. Give it another year. If Mercedes is not up there, then you know Toto Wolff was overhyped. He just basically inherited the system that was given to him, and you couldn't muck it up until rule changes were put in place. Um, and it's sad for Hamilton because unfortunately Hamilton knew full well. I mean, not didn't know full well, but I think he realized that 2 years ago or a year ago when they were making car changes, he was putting his input, and they told him, "No, we don't need your input." Reality is, a world class driver, the team has to get that input. And now Mercedes is far behind. Red Bull, look where they're at. I mean, I just say it, but Christian Horner and his team, for every rule change there is, they're able to adapt, and they're able to adapt very quickly. Quite honestly, they've been able to adapt very quickly, and that's a massive understatement on Christian Horner as far as how good of he is. I think if there's a Hall of Famer for team principals, Horner should be on there because it seems like he's showing how good he is from the day he became team principal onwards. I mean, Red Bull has been competitive all those years. And I hate to say this, but like Christian Horner is that person. Um, in any case, I don't know if we're going to see another person like him. I mean, Otmar, I think, could be that other person as well too. He might be the right person to actually take over for Mercedes. If I'm Mercedes and you want to get rid of Wolf, Otmar could come in there and help it out. I think the one difference with Otmar for though is the fact is like he didn't know how to handle his drivers, and that was one of the things. I think he figured that the drivers themselves should handle it themselves. Reality is, it turns out it was not the case. I think, of course, Gunther Steiner, only because of Drive to Survive, the Netflix series, his his celebrityism stock went up because of that. But in reality, if you look closely, he wasn't a good team principal. I think Otmar is. I wish to see him again somewhere. Like, it would be great if he could come into Haas, but doubt that's going to happen. I mean, I think he might be the right person to take over for Mercedes, quite honestly, if they were to get rid of Wolf. But with that, I hate the way he was pretty much ousted, quite honestly, because it was him that brought Alpine, Renault, aka Alpine, to where it was, and then the other dude. You even witnessed it in the last season of Drive to Survive. I forgot his name now. You saw how he came about. It wasn't a case of him buying his time, but it was more of a case of like Bruno basically putting into people's ears of what Amar's doing, and how incorrect it was. In reality, Amar was doing the right thing. It's just that he didn't know how to handle Ocon and Gasly. And now Bruno's like pissed off at Ocon after what happened, in the Monaco GP. Let's see what happens. I'll be kind of curious to see how that works. And I hate to say this, but Ocon, sorry, man, but you're just a reckless driver. And I think Checo, I didn't realize it when they were driving for Racing Point at the time, that Checo was calling him out, and like no one was listening to him. It was like, oh, Checo's got an ego, but in reality, it's showing that Ocon is that reckless driver. He's almost like a Daniel Kvyat, basically, like the torpedo. He's very dangerous for the sport. I think you've got to get rid of him. Unfortunately, he's too reckless. Unless he grows up, someone's gonna get injured because of him and his and the way he drives. But with that, anyways, I'll leave it at that. Let me guys know your thoughts about it with Oscar Piastri, with Toto Wolff, even Otmar, and for Ocon for that matter as well too. I'll leave it in the comment section. I do read all my comments. I do respond to them when they want a response. And if you like my video, like my channel, like my content, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.